Silver and Blue Huddle is back again, and we are feeling good, feeling great after a great Thanksgiving meal, after a good day of football in the National Football League. Our Cowboys won, just like we said they would, over the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a close game, but it was a good game because we wanted
Yeah.
to entertain America, right? Because we know America was watching the Dallas Cowboys. So you guys are welcome. Nice little close game, and then the Cowboys still end up pulling it off, but I know Ed's is excited. I'm excited. Mike is also still on a vacation, enjoying family time with his family, so he'll be back next episode. But overall, I had a great, happy Thanksgiving indeed. Thanks to the Dallas Cowboys not ruining it. Thanks to all the good food that I had. But most importantly, a Cowboys won. But how was your Thanksgiving, Ed?
Hey, it was great. I got to go see one of my boys and his wife. Got to spend some time with them. Ate way too much food. And we eat early since the Cowboys played late. We ate early so we could rest a little bit before the Cowboy game. Saw a good first game with the Packers. And then, you get a chance to watch the Cowboys in prime time with all of America watching and to watch the master class that Dak Prescott and this offense put on.
Right.
And then that defense just made enough plays to get us the W. It's always a good Thanksgiving when the Cowboys win. And then the Bears just made Thanksgiving even better the next day by beating the Eagles. So was a good week of football overall. Can't wait for next Thursday versus the Lions.
Yeah, me either. Like you said, great games all day long from noon all the way until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I think they had 3 games played. They all was really good. So the most important one, like I said, was played during prime time, during when everybody was eating their meals. I normally eat a plate before the first game. So by the time the Cowboys come on, I'm already on my second, maybe third game, and I'm nice and full. And I'm just sitting there rubbing my belly. Every touchdown, I'm rubbing my belly. Okay, because I love it when the Cowboys score. But 31-28 over the Kansas City Chiefs, over Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Rice, and Andy Reid. It's always a good time when we can actually defeat the Kansas City Chiefs because they are former Super Bowl champions. They know how to win. It's a great football team. They got great players, a great quarterback. So for the Dallas Cowboys to come out on Thanksgiving and play the Kansas City Chiefs and actually beat the Kansas City Chiefs, I loved it. I love the way we performed, offense, defense, special teams, Turpin saving a fumble there in the fourth quarter. That was huge, but let's just take it from the top. What was your overall thought of the Cowboys' defeats of the Kansas City Chiefs? Starting with the offensive side.
Obviously, it started wrong, right? The Cowboys throw the pick on the first third down of the game. Dak's arm gets hit.
Right.
You could put that on Dak Prescott. Should have stepped up in the pocket a little bit quicker and got that ball out. But you throw the first pick, Kansas City goes right down the field after that first pick, puts the ball in the end zone. And I know a lot of Cowboys Nation was like, oh, no, not another Thanksgiving where we just don't play well. But that offense settled down right after that. They go right back down the field, put points on the board. And Dak Prescott was surgical with it the entire game.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb had a horrible game the week before versus the Eagles. Good thing his running mate, George Pickens, carried him in that Eagles game. They made an effort to find CeeDee Lamb early in this game. He catches a touchdown. He has a lot of big plays, a lot of pass interference calls with guys trying to guard him. Javonte Williams runs the ball really well. Dak extends plays with his legs. He's not sacked a lot. That offensive line plays well. No crazy false starts, holding calls, none of that stuff from this offense. Just played really, really well. Dak another 300-yard passing game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are big roles in this game. The catch by George Pickens, where if he hurdles that guy and lands the hurdle, that play is the greatest play of the year in the NFL. Thanks. I mean, this was just a great game by this offense, and I loved every bit of it. You talked about it. Every single player on this offense played a role, from Ferguson to Turpin, Flournoy with a big catch. The 2 big wide receivers you got in this offensive line plays well. And then when you got the 60 million man playing at that level, you can't ask for a better Thanksgiving than the way this offense played. And then the defense was just complimentary to them. This is a difficult team. You talked about it last episode. I would not want to see this Dallas Cowboy football team when it comes December, January. This is not the team I would want to see because they are playing really good football together with all 3 phases.
Correct. And just like to highlight some of the performances, like even shout out to Malik Davis. He had a nice little run as well. Yes. 3 for 47. The longest run was 43 yards. Like that was great because sometimes it is kind of hard to run on Kansas City with the big man Chris Jones in the middle. I mean, he made some plays, tackle for losses or whatever, but Dak Prescott did not take one sack. And we both know how hard it is to play against that Steve Spagnuolo defense with all the exotic things that they currently do on defense. It kind of got us off guard maybe like once or twice in the very beginning. But after that, we was able to block every blitz. We was able to get downfield whenever we wanted to, pass interference calls and stuff like that. They could not stop Pickens or CeeDee Lamb. Like, you can't stop both people. And when the way Kansas City play defense, they blitz a lot. So they're going to be staying in man coverage. And I love the way the new Cowboys offense like takes shots down the field. Because in prior years, all we do is run curl routes, 5-yard curls. But now that we're offense that takes shots down the field, you got to respect it, right? And then if you ain't got two people back there, you got one-on-one coverage on the outside. And good luck with that. Good luck trying to cover Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. Like, that's where you get all those flags at, because they holding and they doing all kind of routes, double moves. So huge shout out to Dak Prescott and Malik Davis and CeeDee Lamb and JP and Ryan Flournoy. Thank God, because I didn't want to see no more of Jalen Tolbert. But Ryan is actually playing pretty well. Like, the man is playing well. Like, he really is.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because my son and I are watching the game. I'm like, Flournoy has made Jalen Tolbert missing. Like, I saw him a couple times in the game, and typically when he's in the game, we're running the football. Right. Flournoy has made it very difficult for Jalen Tolbert to see the field, and that's a good thing, because I still think Jalen Tolbert can help you in certain spots. Mm-hmm. But when you got two monsters at wide receiver in Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, people forget about that third and fourth guy. That's why Jake Ferguson has had such a really good bounce back year, is because you're so worried about those two guys on the outside. Mm-hmm. You cannot roll your coverage to everybody. You got to pick your poison. And another game where we look at the stat sheet and it's like, okay, Dak is completing passes, multiple passes to 6-7 different guys in this offense. So it's like, you saw Kansas City, you talked about it. You saw Kansas City got home on the pick early with the blitz. The Cowboys made an adjustment. Dak Prescott, I didn't feel like he was under pressure the rest of the game. Were there times that they got back there? Yeah. He steps up in the pocket. He moves to his right. He moves to his left. He's throwing the ball on the run. He's throwing it at different levels too. How many times last year did we see Dak on that naked boot rollout and just dump it off to the first guy to tight end, right? He's doing it real quick. Now he's rolling out. He's hitting Flournoy 16, 17 yards down the field, or he's taking the deep post to Pickens or Lamb. That's the difference in this offense, and I think all of that goes to Brian Schottenheimer. And it starts to make me think, why didn't McCarthy allow this man to be more open, to be more, diverse in his offense in the past couple seasons when he had him? Listen to the guy. He obviously knows what he's doing with the offense. The only difference in this offense is George Pickens.
Right.
They had a good team last year. Brandon Cooks is a good, fast wide receiver. Now, he's not George Pickens, but you still had some of these same weapons last year. Why not go attack defenses like we're seeing now? Yep. Because then it starts to open things up, right? Then it opens up the Malik Davis draw to go 43 yards for the touchdown. And big shout out to Mr. Booker, one of the Tylers. Just go back and watch some of this film. Listen, go search social media Tyler Booker versus Chris Jones, and watch Tyler Booker make Chris Jones a non-factor in this football game. This is a guy, Chris Jones, that you talk about as being one of the elite defensive tackles in the NFL every single year. He is a disruptor. And did he have some plays? He did have some tackles for losses. He did play well. But Tyler Booker made him a non-factor pretty much the entire game, both in pass coverage and in run blocking. It was crazy how good this offensive line played. And when you got a front five that is now healthy, playing together, and can rotate right, left, pass block. So many times where I saw Dak roll out and they roll the tackle or the guard out with him to give him some extra protection.
Right.
This offense is scary. And we talked about on this podcast, if this defense can just find a way to hold teams to 25 or less points, this Cowboy team always has a chance to win, especially when they're playing like this with those two monsters on the outside.
Yeah, I agree. And like Chris Jones, when he wasn't really making like a tackle for loss, he really was just really diving all over the place, missing tackles. It was kind of funny watching him dive all over the place and kind of miss tackles. But our offense is amazing. We got some playmakers, we got some elite players, but also just another great, perfectly called game by Shoddy offensively, because I felt like they was always ahead. I mean, they had I don't know what analytics is telling this man to go for it on fourth down as much as he does, but you know, I don't. I'd rather take the points, especially early. But it worked out. It worked out for us in the end, so that's kind of okay. But this fourth down stuff is kind of getting scary. Not only just with the Cowboys, but in every NFL game. You saw with the Lions, you saw with the Packers. Like this fourth down stuff is getting out of hand in the NFL. Like it's like do or die.
Sometimes taking your points, even if the analytics tell you different, is the right thing to do. Like take your points, because we saw it hurt some teams. Like look at the Eagles. Instead of going for 2, if they would have just kicked the field goal and be down 8, they have a chance to go tie that football game at the end of the game. But because they're down 9, it's hard to make 2 possessions. But I get it. Like the analytics tell you it's just smarter to go for 2 there. It's smarter to go 4th and 3 instead of trying to kick the field. I get that part of the game, and that's kind of where it's changed. You look back 10, 15 years, if you're in field goal range, I don't care what it was, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, you're kicking the field goal, taking the points. Now teams are starting to gamble. It didn't hurt the Cowboys this week. It may hurt them at some point down the road, but you like his aggressiveness at times, and I'm just like you. I'm yelling at the TV. You got the greatest kicker in NFL. Bring him out there, let him kick the ball.
Right.
But this Cowboy offense is scary, and if they find a way, I think that's their big one flaw, right? That their red zone offense continues to be a struggle point for them. If they can kind of figure some of that out, they'll be even better than they are, which is scary to think that they can get even better at offense.
In the red zone on the 7 or 8, I want you to run 4 straight times. 4 straight times, because like the pass is it's not that much space in the end zone, like, and you know they always drop back, and I just don't like the interception possibility. I'd rather just run the ball three straight times, 3 or 4 times, and be done with it. But overall, offensively, they played well. If I had to do like an MVP offensively, I mean, he didn't really do much stat wise as far as his position is concerned, but Turpin saving that George Pickens fumble in the fourth quarter to kind of seal the game for us, that was kind of clutch to me, because you know, you play football, I play football, like the hustle of maybe trying to chase down the football, fumble football may or may not be there. And most of the time it's probably not there, because it was a lot more Kansas City players around that football than it was Dallas. And then Turpin all of a sudden just came out of nowhere and jumped on the football, which was a great thing. And I'm happy that he did that. I'm happy to see this football team once again continue to play all the way to the whistle. They run to the football. They trying to get punch outs and stuff like that. That's stuff that we ain't seen before. Like, and they kind of aggressive. Like even dating back to last week's game, down 21, and still had a mentality to come all the way back and stick to your game plan. Like this Cowboys team is different this year.
Yeah,
the coaching is different. The culture is different. It looks like they're having fun. I saw a clip of a locker room where Mike McCarthy was talking to the team after a dub, versus looking at a clip in with Shoddy talking to the team after a dub. You see how excited them guys look? Like they having fun. Even like you saw the Chicago Bears one, the coach taking off his shirt and stuff like that. Like these players love those type of energized coaches.
Exactly.
And it's contagious. And it's contagious in Dallas right now.
I feel like this team loves to play for Schottenheimer.
Yes.
I don't necessarily felt that way with the past several coaches of the Cowboys. I feel there was times that they liked to play for Mike McCarthy or Jason Garrett, but I really feel like this team will run through brick wall after brick wall for Schottenheimer. Now, obviously, this team has gone through some turmoil, some tragedy this year, and that kind of brings you even closer together. But even before Marshawn Nealon's tragedy, I felt like this team already loved to play for him. When you see those in the locker room kind of huddles and he's screaming like, you know, Dak had a touchdown. Yeah. CD had a touchdown. Yeah. And just like that kind of hype in your locker room, you see the camaraderie with this team. And even Jerry Jones has talked about it. You know, it feels different with this team than it has in the past.
Right.
For me, the offensive MVP, I got to give it to the two outside wide receivers. 13 catches, 200 yards, and a touchdown combined for CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Think about that. 13 catches, 200 yards, and a touchdown. You will take that every game from your two-star wide receivers.
Right.
And I saw the stat when they put up on the screen. I was like, I had to fact check because I was like, I know George Pickens has had a good year, but he's already got over 1,000 yards receiving as a Cowboy. And he's got more receiving yards than all of the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers combined. Now, when you clowns gave him to us for a third-round pick and was like, oh, he finna be a cancer in that locker room. Wait till he don't get the football. That man is doing work for the Dallas Cowboys. And listen, the celebration is my favorite thing when George Pickens get it. Like, between him and CeeDee Lamb cooking all day long, like, I know that's got to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators when he's coming in the building because not a lot of teams have two lockdown corners that you can put on him. I thought the Eagles had a really good shot because they got a really good secondary. And even with CeeDee Lamb not catching the football, they still torched that secondary. And now they do it to the Chiefs, who have another good defense.
Right.
They don't give up a lot of yards. I mean, the one wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, had more yards in the first quarter, and that dude had given up an entire game the whole year.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb
Watson or
was
something like that.
cooking.
Yeah.
So those two guys get my MVP because when you got two guys and then the guy in the backfield that's got the gun, it is difficult to scheme versus that.
Right. And just going back to like offensively, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, like I feel like I love their relationship because George actually seemed like he influenced CeeDee to wear the little, what do they call it? Under their helmet, the little white
Scully.
The little Scully. Like we never saw that type of relationship amongst the wide receivers at all. Like so I'm glad GP was able to influence that a little bit because he always wore that. CD never used to wear nothing like that.
Oh, they flashy.
Yeah,
they flashy.
So now
Did you see
together.
CD had like the diamonds on the wrist the whole game. He had the diamonds on one, the golden diamonds on the like.
Yeah.
These two guys are having fun playing together at the same time. And I don't think CeeDee's had that since he had Amari Cooper on the other side. And CeeDee Lamb is a way better wide receiver than he was back when Cooper was there. So those two guys love to see each other win. And when you got two guys that aren't selfish for the football and you got a quarterback that knows I got to find a way to keep these two guys happy. On the same token, I'm finding a way to get Jake Ferguson the ball and Turpin the ball and Javonte Williams. This is a masterclass. If people are not talking about Dak Prescott as the MVP candidate, I don't know what we're watching because there are some great players, right? Like Jonathan Taylor, what he's doing in Indianapolis out the backfield is really good. You still got Josh Allen playing well. But if Dak Prescott's not in that MVP conversation, it's all because of the star on his helmet, and that's the only reason.
Right. And it's always been like that. Even when he was in the strong candidate 2-3 years ago and they gave it to Lamar Jackson, that was the main reason why they didn't give it to Dak Prescott because of the helmet, okay, because of the star. But defensively, Patrick Mahomes got his. You can't really limit him too far, too much longer, but he got his. He was, 23-34 for 261, 4 TDs. He made some plays. Travis Kelce really wasn't too much of an S factor, but he made a play as well. Some guys you just can't stop. Some people you just got to hope to limit them a little bit. And I think that's what the Cowboys defense did throughout the game. It wasn't pretty at first when Kansas City just drove the ball all the way down the field. But I felt like we got some pressure when we needed to. The secondary held up when they needed to. For the most part, Clowney continues to play out of his mind. He had 2 sacks. My man Quinn Williams was in just pressure all over the place, and even Sam Williams too. Man, he had a tackle for a loss as well. But defensively, I was pleased. I think we got like a huge defensive question, no matter how our season goes, on where now if we're going to keep our DC or not. Like, we're gonna have to maybe talk about that at some point because. Do we give him another shot with this core that's doing pretty good and see how it happens? We works out that season or what? But the defense is playing nice. They made some good
for
plays.
me, it's gonna come down to these last 5 games of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does this defense do is going to determine if Eberflus comes back because they are playing considerably better. They're getting to the quarterback.
Yes.
You talked about Clowney had 2 sacks. I think. Houston was in there.
Yes.
Sam Williams had a big
Flower,
play.
Dante. Yeah.
Fowler had a sack. I mean, these guys are getting, and then you look at the hits on Patrick Mahomes, they are hitting the quarterback, and it's disrupting the things he's having to throw the football away. He's trying to scramble. And then you look, they still had a plus 100-yard rush game, but if you take away Patrick Mahomes' 30 yards of his scrambles as a quarterback, they really controlled this run game under 100 yards, right around 70 plus yards. So you like that from your defense. And then you talked about Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the league. He really, besides the touchdown, really was not a big factor for this team. Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. He's not one to me, but he's probably 2 or 3, depending on who you ask. He's going to get his. The difference is you try and make Kansas City punt as much as possible and then hold them to 3 points if you can. The Cowboys did as well as I expected them to do on defense. This secondary, most of those sacks are not like the Cowboys bringing extra pressure, right? It's just the front 4 or 5 when they line up in that 5 defensive lineman look, finally getting to the quarterback because this secondary is holding up. Now, does Trayvon Diggs coming back make this secondary even that much better if he finds a way to fit into this role? Because you played without Carson, who has been playing well. Revel played well. Bland played well. Hooker played well. Donovan Wilson played well. Logan played well. I mean, you starting to see this defense starting to turn the corner a little bit. And I think these next 5 games are going to be the determining factor whether Matt comes back next year as a defense coordinator or is Schottenheimer going to go a different route. I think they're going to let Matt Eberflus come back and give him a second shot, hopefully with this defense he's got healthy, an entire off season with this defense, and see what they can do next year. But, hey, if the Cowboys run the table, even if the Cowboys lose one game, I still think they make the playoffs. But they have a chance. If they beat Detroit on Thursday, they have a chance to run the table here and get into the playoffs. And it's scary if you got to see this team in January.
I agree. And looking at the box score, for me, like the most important stat when you look at Kansas City and what they did offensively, their receivers, the longest catch that a receiver had was 42 yards. Other than that, it was no longer than 28 yards. You was able to hold, and I think on that 42-yarder pretty much was at the end of the game, probably in the fourth quarter.
Correct.
when Mahomes got out of the pocket. But you look at Worthy, you look at Hollywood Brown, and you look at Rice. That is nothing but speed. And when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, what they do, they throw a whole bunch of streaks all the way down the field for a touchdown. You didn't see none of that this week versus the Cowboys. And like I said, 42-yarder, that's Xavier Worthy, who's probably one of the fastest people in the NFL. They normally tear the tops off of defense in that secondary. And luckily, our defense held up the front, or the 5-7 held up and got a lot of pressure to where they weren't really able to take those deep shots that they're pretty much known for. So the defense did what they're supposed to do. Trayvon Diggs, my only concern with him coming back is if he's going to do his job. You know, he like to take chances, right? He like to play under a little bit and leave his assignment, hoping that he got somebody behind him. And sometimes when he don't, he gets all upset and his attitude kind of goes sour a little bit. But if he's 100%, sure. But I'm not trying to have the Trayvon Diggs that was out there week 2 and 3 that just let people get behind him because he was kind of sort of limping or not 100%. But if he's 100%, sure, maybe give him a try. And probably not against Detroit, but
that's the great thing is you don't have to rush him back. You can let him take his time because this defensive secondary is playing well with the group that they got. Hopefully they can get Case and Carson back this week versus Detroit. Yeah. This secondary is already playing well. The difference is that early on in the year, we talked about this. They played zone 99% of the time.
Right.
Now they feel confident with the front 4, front 5 that they got. They're playing a lot more mixed coverages. It may look like zone, but then they're in man look. It may look like man, then they go zone.
Right.
He is able to disguise a lot more with the secondary that he has with this personnel he's finally got in Dallas. And I know a lot of people were upset at the trade deadline that the Cowboys didn't go get a Max Crosby or a Hendrickson or an edge guy somewhere, like they felt they needed edge guy. Going and getting a monster like Quinnen Williams for the middle, and when they go to their 3 defensive tackle look with Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Odigizua, That is wreaking havoc against offenses right now. And they're absolutely forcing teams to get out of their run game and become one-dimensional and just throw the football. You're not going to play Patrick Mahomes type quarterback the rest of the year. Love Jared Goff. I love Jared Goff. He is a good quarterback, but he is not Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
Neither is any quarterback they play. Jaden Daniels, whoever the Giants are going to run out there, probably be Jameis Winston, Herbert for the Chargers. Listen, there's not going to play another Patrick Mahomes that does the things he does.
Right.
This defense is going to be a problem for the rest of these 5 games, and it starts with Detroit. And the way that Eberflus is starting to change up some things, it's starting to look like what he had when he was in Chicago, where he felt comfortable not blitzing a lot. Because if you look, the Cowboys didn't blitz a lot versus the Chiefs.
No.
They played a lot of 5 down linemen, 7 defensive backs, or 5 down linemen, 1 linebacker, and 6 defensive backs. And this is where the Cowboys can be kind of versatile with what they do, because they know that front 4, front 5 can get after the quarterback without bringing extra heat.
Right.
I would hate to have to scheme against this team during the week before you play them. This is going to be tough to play the Cowboys.
I agree. So, I mean, defensively, I like the way Clowney had that energy. And like he said, he had 2 sacks on the day, even one critical one, I think, in the third or fourth quarter when he had to chase down Mahomes a little bit. But I'm liking Clowney's attitude, considering he's one of the OG vets. And you know how sometimes they can be when they sign with a team mid-year and stuff like that. You never know what you're going to get. But it seems like Clowney is still a very good defensive player, and he really enjoys being out there. I mean, winning cures everything, but, you know, I applaud him a little bit. And I think that trade, as of right now, I mean, it seems kind of even. Packers got what they needed. Cowboys got what we wanted. We needed that interior pressure, so we got Williams. I think we'll probably go ahead and like fully claim that trade once we see what we do with those draft picks in the next couple months or a few years. But I like the trade. I like the trade. You flip a player and turn it into 2 great players. Like Jerry cooked on that, even though nobody really don't want to give Jerry credit for that trade. But we'll see.
I don't care what anybody says. The Cowboys won that trade. Yes, did Micah have a good game on Thanksgiving? He did. He played he looked like the Micah Parsons of old on that first Thanksgiving game. He got after Detroit, and they could not block him. He definitely was a monster versus Detroit, which he needed to have a big game like that because he disappears when the lights are on sometimes. He played really, really well. But when you think about it, you didn't pay him $40+ million, which allowed you to now, with the cap space, pay other people. It's going to help you hopefully be able to sign George Pickens to a long-term deal. You get Quinnen Williams, you get Kenny Clark, plus you have an additional first-round pick still from that trade. So if they find a way to draft another superstar with that first-round pick, it's not even close. The Cowboys won this trade.
Right.
Now, if the Packers go and win a Super Bowl with Micah Parsons this year, you could probably give Green Bay some edge to that. But right now, looking at it, comparing apples to apples, I think the Cowboys won this trade based on what they've done with the picks, as well as saving some of that money for what they're going to do down the road.
Right. So, great game versus Kansas City. Thank you, Cowboys, for not ruining Thanksgiving for me.
Yes.
You know, I really, really appreciate that because, you know, all of America is watching. We don't want to continue to get them any type of ammo to go against the Dallas Cowboys, all right? Because, when it's prime time, that's when we got to try the most. But this team just seems so different compared to all these other teams that we just been watching. Like, you go in knowing that there ain't gonna be no false starts. It ain't gonna be no holding. It ain't gonna be no unsportsmanlike conduct because this team is very, very disciplined, right? Like
Facts.
You haven't seen it. Like there's plenty of times before where offensive false start kills drives, and they have them like 4-5 times in a game. You ain't seen that this year. So,
and how many times did we see that over the past 3 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, where we would get on here and be like, can we just stop the penalties? Can we stop shooting ourselves in the foot when we got drives going that just kill drives? You don't see that. The Cowboys do not beat themselves most of the time. Now, if they had some bad games where I look up and go, golly, man, we played horrible that game, or the play calling wasn't as good as I thought it was. But you're right. Discipline is not a problem for this Dallas Cowboy. And you talked about earlier, effort is also not a problem for this Dallas Cowboys. They run to the football on defense, and they play through the whistle on offense. We've seen it multiple times where the ball is on the ground and the Cowboys have no business getting the football, and they find a way to come out the pile with the football.
Yep.
We just saw it with Turpin in that game. That fumble right there probably saved the Dallas Cowboys because you were going to give Patrick Mahomes another shot with that team. And he gets 2 possessions there. He pretty much scored when it mattered. But the Cowboys did what they had to do. And the best way to beat the Chiefs is how? Leave number 15 standing on the sidelines looking like his dog just died, upset because he can't get back into the football game and do something. How many times has Patrick Mahomes had an opportunity? We saw it in the Super Bowl when they won versus I think it was versus the Eagles, where nobody was like, they got no shot, and he takes them right down the field and goes and wins the Super Bowl, or the AFC Championship game versus the Bills. That's what it was. Yes. When he got the ball and he threw the pass to Travis Kelce to set up the field goal to go and win that football game. That's what Patrick Mahomes does. And for Dak Prescott in this offense to get the football, control it, control the clock, find a way to get first down after first down, penalty after penalty. And in that game, this is a different team because in previous years, they would have had a holding call there or something, or a false start or something. It would have been 1st and 20 or 1st and 15, and it would have been ugly. But I am loving Brian Schottenheimer. Now, can Cowboy Nation, now all those people that hated this hire, are they now going to come out and say, man, we really did the right thing?
It's going to probably take them a few more games before they say that. But, I mean, I'm sold. I guess I probably was sold when we saw in training camp Dak Prescott was running around with a little horsey in between his legs at practice. Like, that's how you know the culture of the Cowboys changed, right? Back in preseason, like, they've been having fun since training camp, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's contagious, apparently. So, but I'm happy with the Cowboys, man, for not ruining my Thanksgiving. A lot of food, a lot of family time as well. But coming up a week from now is going to be the big bad Detroit Lions on the road in Detroit on a Thursday night football game. Normally Thursday nights are short weeks, but I think both teams actually get like a full week. So it'll be a lot of preparation, a lot of focus on what the Dallas Cowboys need to do to beat Detroit. Like, I think last week podcast, I said the Cowboys can lose one of these 2 games, or they could win them both. After what I saw in Kansas City, I think the Cowboys can win both of them, all right? Because looking at the Lions, looking at Jared Goff, they ain't going to have St. Brown, who unfortunately went down with an injury during his game, so I don't think they're going to have him. But if we get pressure on Jared Goff, everybody knows Jared Goff cannot handle pressure. Like, the games that the Lions lose is because they face a very aggressive, blitzing defense. And I dare Dan Campbell, which he will, continue to go for it on 4th down and give this offense a lot more opportunities. If the Cowboys capitalize on the Lions going for it on 4th and whatever and not converting, and we get points out of that, this game could be blown wide open very, very quickly. But what are your thoughts on the Cowboys and Lions coming up next Thursday?
Yeah, I think this is another game when you look at it where you got 2 teams that are desperate, right? The Lions coming off the loss versus the Packers on Thanksgiving, fighting for their life right now in the NFC North with the Bears playing really well, the Packers now playing really well. They are in desperation mode as well. Cowboys still in desperation mode, trying to fight their way into the playoff picture. Right now, I think if the playoffs started, both these teams would be out. They wouldn't even make the playoffs, which is difficult to think about, especially after the year the Lions had last year, pretty much bringing back their entire team. This is going to be a dogfight between these 2 teams. And you talked about it. The pressure we put on Jared Goff will determine this game. If you find a way to get to Jared Goff, he has proven time and time again that he will give you the football or he will make bad decisions and they will punt the football a lot. The other thing is we know Dan Campbell is going to be aggressive versus the Cowboys. He always is. I don't know if it's because he played for the Cowboys didn't let him be the head coach there, or whatever it is. He has some vendetta. When he plays the Cowboys, he really wants to beat us. And he is very, very risky when it comes to that. There is never a time where his punter comes on the field where I don't think, oh, he's about to fake it, or a 4th down pops up that he's not going to go for it. This will be another game that if the Cowboys find a way to hold the Detroit Lions to 25 or less points, the Cowboys are going to win this football game on the road. And that will be a dangerous Dallas Cowboy team with 4 wins in a row headed into the next week. I really like the Cowboys' chances here. They expect Trayvon Diggs to come back versus the Lions. I know Jerry Jones talked about it. This is supposed to be his game back. You
Right.
talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had the ankle sprain in the Packer game, ended up missing the rest of that game. He is questionable to play versus the Cowboys. I would expect they're going to find a way to get him on the field because they instantly become better when he is on the field. He is a top-tier wide receiver. If he does not play, that really helps the Cowboys out. But for the Cowboys, it's going to be, can you control this defensive line? And then the Lions are going to bring pressure. Can you protect Dak Prescott and let those two wide receivers eat? I like the Cowboys' chances, but then again, the way these Cowboys are playing, I don't care who they play. I would pick the Cowboys the way that they're playing right now, especially you talked about they could only lose one of those, the Chiefs or the Lions game. Imagine if they come out of this with the Eagles. When the schedule came out, Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, people were like, that's 3 L's in a row, and it could be 3 W's in a row for the Cowboys. Yeah. That is dangerous confidence going into the last 4 games.
I can see the Cowboys winning this particular game against the Lions because, like I said, based on the way our defense is playing, if we can get to Jared Goff and we're able to limit their run game with Gibbs and Montgomery and stuff like that and don't give them short fields and make them have to drive all the way down the field, I'm not convinced that the Lions can do that because our run defense have gotten a whole lot better with Williams and Kenny Clark in the middle. So we can limit that. I think we'll be fine. I think we can do it. If, like I said, Dan Campbell, he's very aggressive. I think he just got mad because when he played for the Cowboys, Jason Garrett beat him out. I mean, Jason Witten, right? Beat him out for the tight end role, and he hated the Cowboys ever since. But I think we can. I think we can do it.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that run game, right? The two-headed monsters that they have in Detroit, they're going to try, because that sets everything up for the Lions. The play action game for the Lions is everything to them. So if you can make them one-dimensional, as much as I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, I don't think he's a drop back, throw it 35, 40 times a game when you know that's what's coming, right? He needs that run game to be successful for him to be successful at quarterback. And listen, the Lions fans are going to talk a lot this week about how they're such a great team and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Y'all guys haven't done anything for the existence of the Detroit Lions, and y'all go back a long way. And this is another game where if the Cowboys win, are people going to start calling for Dan Campbell's job in Detroit? Because this Lions team has not looked good like they have in recent years. I don't know if he's got enough buffer there where he's had success over the years, but imagine the Cowboys come in here and put a beat down on Detroit at home for the Cowboys a chance to move into that playoff picture seriously. Right. This is maybe a hot seat in Detroit, and Dan Campbell may take a couple risks he shouldn't take, and it's going to come back and bite him.
Yeah, it's got to be tough sitting in that stadium watching the Lions play football, especially when they go for it on 4th down so many times. I'm surprised if we haven't really heard a chant from the audience to be like, take the points, because that's what they should be doing in a lot of their 4th down situations. I'm like, what are you doing, Dan Campbell? Take the 3, bro, because over the course of the game, you see where those 3 points could have made a difference in how the game maybe played out a little bit. And I was like, watching that line is stressful.
I wonder if someone has done that where they've gone back and looked the amount of times he's gone for it on 4th down. If he would just taken the points, how many games they might have possibly won by just taking points versus going on 4th down.
I think even the Packers, at one point you felt like, because he passed up on 2 field goals, so that's 6 points, and that could really have kept the game a lot more closer than what it really is. But we all know Jared Goff is not mobile. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. He's a pure pocket passer. He's sitting in that pocket. He's going down with the pocket. And that's what I love so much about this particular matchup. If we're able to get the Goff and collapse the pocket, it's going to be a sack. And then he's going to fumble the ball. And then we're going to do a fumble recovery for a touchdown. I'm putting that in the universe. I'm manifesting that already, right? Cowboys do a fumble recovery.
This is not a defense where you can step up in the pocket.
Right.
In previous years versus the Cowboys, you could just step up in the pocket, let those 2 edge rushers go by you, and step up and make a play. You cannot step up like you did before because Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams and Odigizua are pushing that pocket to you. So you got to make a decision. How many times did Patrick Mahomes have to bail out and get away because he couldn't step up in the pocket? This is the difference, right? You don't have a mobile quarterback. You have a statue standing back there, and there are guys chasing the statue. And that's going to be the difference. I expect the Cowboys to play a good game. But you got to understand Detroit is desperate. Like, there's the difference when you have desperate teams. It could go two ways, right? A desperate team is going to make some crazy plays and find ways to win, or they get desperate and make some stupid mistakes and give your team better opportunity to win the game. I hope it's the latter. I hope they make some stupid mistakes, give us the football back. You talk about maybe some fumbles, throw a couple picks from Jared Goff, and let this offense have short fields to put the ball in the end zone.
Yep, I agree. I think one of the key things of this game is that if the Cowboys had opportunity to have short fields or to get turnover on downs for the from Detroit, they got to get points every single time. And then now they deter. Well, it probably won't deter them and probably make it do it a little bit more often. But in the very beginning, when they do that and they do not convert, they got to be 7 points every single time. Like, you got to go in there and punish Detroit for making those type of decisions. You do about 2 times, that's 14 points. And then they kind of maybe reconsider. But the key thing is you got to make these teams, you got to punish them for going forward on 4th down and turnover on downs. Because they'd be like, oh, you can't drive midfield. And you know what? That might be a factor because we got Brandon Aubrey who can kick from like 50 or 60 yards. So even if we don't go beyond midfield, he might trot out there and make a field goal. But I want 7. Punish Detroit for going forward on 4th down and turnover on downs. Get 7. They want to give you a short field, get 7. We got to every single time.
This is a 35-24 Cowboy win.
Yes.
And the 24 looks a lot better than what it actually is. I think the Cowboys dominate this football game. They are on a crazy momentum roll right now, and I think it continues in Detroit on Thursday night. Another primetime game. Think about that. Everybody wants to see the Dallas Cowboys, and Roger Goodell knows it, and so he puts us on primetime every chance they get.
What, the last 3 games been on primetime television?
It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't want to hear anybody talk about who the most popular team in the NFL is. Whether you love them or you hate them, everybody wants to watch the Dallas Cowboys play, and the NFL knows it.
Well, look at this. Like, looking at the schedule, you have Philly, Monday Night Football game, Kansas City, Thanksgiving. You got Detroit, prime time Thursday night. And then a week after that, you got the Cowboys and the Vikings on a Sunday night. So 4 straight prime time games for America's team. The NFL know what America wants to see. Okay?
Exactly.
And it ain't the Tennessee Titans.
Argue with yourself. They're not putting Tennessee Titans in no primetime games. They're not putting the Pittsburgh Steelers in no primetime games. They don't care about y'all teams.
Raiders was Monday night too, so that's 5. Raiders was Monday night.
Exactly. They're not putting the Raiders on primetime. The only reason the Raiders got on primetime is because they played the Cowboys. Think about that. Right. Your team is not on primetime the way the Cowboys are for a reason. And it's not because the Cowboys are winning Super Bowls or they're dominant or whatever. It's because it's the Dallas Cowboys and everybody wants to see us play. Whether you want to see us lose or whether you want to see us win, America tunes in when the star is on the TV. It's just facts. You can't argue with it.
5 straight primetime games. I don't understand why all over America isn't a Dallas Cowboy fan as much as y'all see him. I mean, that's how I became a Cowboy fan back in the 90s. They was always on TV. They won a lot. They won Super Bowls. How could you not like the Dallas Cowboys? Like, that's all that you saw. That's all you saw. They pulled the whole Truman Show on me and made me believe that the Cowboys is the team that I should like.
That's it.
They kept them on TV so much, and it worked. Like the Cowboys, the Braves, the Magic was good at that point. The Hurricanes was good. They're all my teams. I don't know how y'all be picking y'all teams, but hey. You like what you see, and I saw a lot of that. But I'm with you on that. I do think the Cowboys come out victorious on Thursday. I'm glad it's not like a short week, so they can rest up their bodies a little bit. They should come back fully energized, fully healthy, and be ready to go on primetime Thursday night versus the Lions. So you went 38-24. I would probably go 38-20 as well. I don't think Detroit's going to be able to keep up with the offensive firepower that we got. Or we're going to see a bunch of flags, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't guard both. Like, you can't guard George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, and then you got Jay Ferguson, and then you got to worry about Turpin. Like, I don't like those Turpin in the backfield type plays. They need to cut that out. But
it worked this week, though. It worked this week. One week it's a fumble. This week it works. That's the problem, man. I'm with you. I can't stand him lining up as a running back. Right. If you're going to run him on a jet sweep or something, throw a screen to him. I mean, he's too dangerous once he gets the ball in his hand, which is why they're trying to put it in his hand.
Right.
I
agree.
I get it. I know why they do it, but I'm with you. Every time he lines in the backfield, I'm like, oh Lord, here we go.
Yeah.
You got a monster in Javonte Williams. Just give him the football in the backfield.
Yeah. Like every time he gets the ball, it's like, man, he's so small. He's so tiny. They about to break him. But one last thing, man. I do want, you know what? I'm sick of the NFL kickoff. Can they just go back to the old way? It was a little bit more exciting. This kickoff now is boring. You rarely see any runbacks. You see people just run into a brick wall.
Yeah, I think this is more about safety for the NFL than it is about anything. I don't know. Did they do this because they thought it would be more exciting? Because I'm with you. I am not a fan at all of the new kickoff.
Yeah.
And if it's truly about safety, then just start every drive at the 25-yard line and not have kickoff, right?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they could do, but
yeah. And they always talk about data. I would love to see the data that made them decide that they want to change it to this new format, because I don't really recall too many injuries happening off the regular kickoff. I mean, it was pretty exciting for the most part, but this new kickoff stuff is boring as heck. Like I said, just start on the 20. Start on the 20. It's a waste of a kick. It really is. And then you penalize someone if the ball happens to go out of bounds. Like, just get rid of this, man.
Not a fan of it.
Not a fan of it. But Cowboys won on Thanksgiving. We got the Detroit Lions coming up next week. The march to the playoffs continues. The Cowboys on a nice little win streak, and that's a fine time to go streaking. Okay, we got some tough teams coming up. The Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. All seem like W's to me, but we'll see. I say people ask me all the time if the Cowboys gonna make the playoffs, and we're like, the Cowboys just need to beat the people that they play on the schedule from week to week. We're taking it on a week-to-week basis, and hopefully those other teams lose. But the Cowboys need to just take care of their business, and everything will fall into place.
That's it. You just got to find a way to get to the dance. That's it. Just find a way to get in, beat the team that's in front of you this week. Let's not talk about 4 weeks down the road. Let's focus on the team we got this week. Beat this team, and we'll worry about those teams when it's their turn.
Yep.
If the Cowboys listen, all they got to do is win out. If they win out the rest of their games this year, they playing in the Super Bowl. That's all that matters.
Right.
That's what matters. Beat every team they put in front of you. And if you start to focus on the Chargers 3 weeks down the road, you're going to forget about the Lions this week. But I don't think Shotty's going to allow that to happen. I think he's ultra focused on what's going on in that building, and he's got this team locked in right now.
Yeah.
This is a different Cowboys football team.
And we got two avenues to get in there. The division is looking pretty. It's starting to clear up a little bit, still kind of foggy a little bit, but I think we can start to see maybe the sunlight at the end of that fog, especially if it continues to go that it is going right now with the Eagles on a nice little losing streak. They lose a few more games and we win a few more games. We're going in the playoffs as a division winner, and that is very much possible looking at who the Eagles play and how the schedules are going to play out a little bit. It's still going to be kind of tough to get into the playoffs, even with the Cowboys winning out. We are going to need a few other teams to lose here and there, because if you looked at the standings, that thing is tight. Seed number 7 is tight. And I looked at it and I'm thinking either Seattle, I thought maybe the Bears would fall out, but they actually won yesterday, and they might. I know they got the Packers coming up twice. I thought maybe it's going to be either the Seahawks or the Bears that's going to fall out of the playoffs. I definitely think it's going to be Seattle, but now it might be Seattle and the 49ers if we win out. One of those teams got to do bad in order for us to get in.
Yeah.
Because of that tie.
That stupid tie is going to come back and bite us. I know it is.
Yeah, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited for it that we won this past couple of days too. But it's been a nice little ride, nice little streaking. And I don't want to hear nothing from the rest of the fan base. I ain't seen the Eagle fan in about 2 weeks. Like, where they go?
They got enough problems in their own building. They got to stop worrying about the Cowboys.
Right. So we'll be back next week, hopefully after another victory Friday or whatever, because they play on Thursday. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4 wins in a row if we beat the Detroit Lions. And if we do that, when we do that, because I'm manifesting, right? When the Cowboys do that, when the Cowboys get a fumble recovery for a TD and just blow the Lions out, I'm manifesting that on a Saturday, but manifesting. And, I'm ready. We'll get Mike back next week. Anything else you want to add before we get out?
No, man. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. We will see you guys on the next Silver and Blue after another win by the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, 4th straight Silver and Blue. We catch you guys next week.